I call this meeting to order at 6:01 PM. I'll start the meeting by reading the township land acknowledgement. The township of Adjala-Tosorontio is situated on the lands within Treaty 18, being of the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe people, including the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. This land is home to many diverse First Nation, Inuit, and Métis people. We acknowledge Indigenous peoples as stewards of the land, and we honor their resilience as well as their culture, and of our shared respect for the lands, plants, animals, and waterways which sustain us all. We recognize the injustices against Indigenous peoples and are mindful that the decisions of government impact our shared land and all the inhabitants. We commit to reconciliation as a journey, foster Indigenous cultural awareness and educational opportunities, establish respectful and healthy relations with Indigenous peoples, continue to steward the land and its habitats, and to cultivate an inclusive community for all. Are there any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll proceed to item 3, which item 3.1 is the adoption of the minutes. The recommendation reads that the agenda for the Community Development and Event Committee held on Monday, May 25th, 2026 be adopted as presented. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Cox, can I get a seconder? Seer, any questions? All those in favor? Carried. We'll move to our next item, which is disclosure of pecuniary interests. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we'll move to item number 5, which is the recommendation that reads that the minutes for the Community Development and Event Committee held on Monday, April 27, 2026 be adopted as present. Can I get a mover, please? Shirley. Can I get a seconder, please? Seer, any questions? All those in favor? Carried. Now we'll move on to our general business items. Our first general business item is 6.1, which is our 2026 outdoor movie night event. I'll turn this over to Councillor Cox, as you've been helping to facilitate this.
Yeah, sorry for the late email. So I'm not sure if you got it, but there is a catalog presented for the movies. We'll have to select one. I'm not sure if you've reviewed them, if you have any ideas or suggestions. I figure it's a fairly simple decision that we could iron out today. I'm going to put a recommendation forward and say the SpongeBob movie, because I figure that's good for like all ages. But I'm open to suggestions.
I was going to suggest the Sonic 3. I did a quick chat GPT on it as well. Yeah. It is let AI know, and so it also recommended for all ages, considering kids, adults, teenagers. It chose that from the list pretty much. That and Minecraft as the 1 and 2, but
Minecraft
again, SpongeBob
is also on my list.
Yeah, okay, so there you
go. Janice, Shirley, do you have suggestions?
I'm open to whatever. Either of those are great choices.
I certainly don't have an opinion because my children are all adults, and so I really don't know how to choose from a younger perspective. So
it's a bit of a tough decision because I say all 3 that have been suggested here, my kids like all of them. So I'm okay with any one of the 3. You want to do a coin toss or just?
My suggestion would be just take your lead. You'll be leading the subject to begin with, so you make the pick.
You got kids too.
I asked them as well.
And they went with Sonic 3?
They're okay between Minecraft and Sonic 3. But I'll let you take the lead.
Jim Carrey's always classic, right? So is Jack Black. He's good as well. That's a tough call.
I don't think you have to make the decision tonight. I mean, if it's,
I think we should.
If it's for you to decide, then you can decide at your convenience.
I'd sooner do it in public, right?
Yeah, and I'd recommend that committee passes a motion on whichever movie that they choose.
Yeah. I'm open. We can go with Sonic 3. I'm totally okay with that. Sure. Or we can go the latter and just pick Minecraft if that was one that was Let's go with Minecraft. Going with Minecraft.
Done.
Do you have a motion prepared for that then?
I do. Thank you, Chair. Let me just pop the official proper movie title name in here, and I'll read it out. Okay, so the recommendation would read that the Community Development and Event Committee select a Minecraft movie as the feature film for the 2026 Outdoor Movie Night event. If the committee is satisfactory with that.
Can I get a mover, please? Shirley, can I get a seconder, please? Seer? All those in favor? Carried. Counselor Cox, was that all that was needed regarding the movie night? Was there any other additional things outstanding?
Nope, there's just the form to be filled out, which I've sent to the clerk for particular like payment information. But the movie was the most crucial aspect of that. So now that we have that decided, we can fill it out, send it back to them, and we should be scheduled for the dates provided in August.
One question, Counselor Cox, I can't remember, was the popcorn included with this one?
Yes, there was a flat rate for popcorn machine bags and supplied up to 120 bags, which was $169.50 in total.
Okay, perfect, just to know if we needed to cover anything regarding that.
That was including taxes too.
Perfect. Any other questions regarding outdoor movie night? Seeing none, we'll move to our Canada Day discussion. So the first thing that is listed is in regards to the site plan and parking that was provided. This was a copy of what was done last year. We will have to make some additions to that. I'm going to need to follow up with Party Time because they'll require a certain amount of dedicated outlets for inflatables and stuff, but I think the goal is to keep that stuff where it was similarly to last year, the kids' stuff. It'll just depend on outlets, so that might have to be a decision with Public Works a little closer to when we have those details and everything. I know in terms of we're hoping to use the soccer fields, the junior soccer fields, if we're able to. I'll have an update from the mayor that I'll read later on, but hoping to use those soccer fields for activities for the kids to kind of go coincide with the grant idea. And the idea was I think last year we had the playground open and then it was closed just before fireworks. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. That seemed to work well. I think a lot of parents appreciated the playground being open. I know this year there's going to be a lot of other opportunities for things for kids to explore, but that just leaves another, because especially if families are coming from the beginning to the event, to the end of the event, it gives them more opportunity of things to do. I have some updates that that I'll make you aware of regarding some vehicles and stuff that's going to be attending. So again, some of the stuff in terms of placement up on the tarmac area may have to be adjusted a bit. And I've just got to wait till those details are finalized. Yes, Beverly, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I have spoken with Public Works in regards to the outlets. And there is a concern, all of the outlets are on the same circuit. So there is a concern if it is our responsibility to provide the electricity for the inflatables. Party Time wasn't providing any generators or anything like that.
Not to my knowledge, they needed to. I had got confirmation today that they needed 5 dedicated outlets.
Okay. We will have to do some further looking into that then. I know the outlets associated with the gazebo. I think there's 5 there, but they are usually taken with the band equipment.
Yeah.
And then the only other 2, there's actually 3 more sets of outlets. One is at the back wall where I think we normally have the porta potties, kind of by the accessible parking space there. And then the other 2 kind of flank either side of the entrance, the main entrance.
So out at the front.
Yes, and those are the only other outlets out available.
So then we're gonna have to look into other options, like, and be able to, like, in terms of, because we did move ahead and we signed a contract.
I have the potential to bring a generator with like it also has like its own, I have an attachment that goes to it that has its own panel with additional outlets. I think there's like 4 outlets that go onto it. But like, it's loud, but the cord's pretty long. And then that's just to where the box is. I think there's 4 outlets on it. And then you could run extension cords from the long extension cords from that to the inflatables if need be. Like, I gladly bring it here for the event. Sorry.
There is a generator available through Public Works as well. Unfortunately, Brent was unable to make it tonight, but he had the same notion as you did with just the noise and the placement of where it would be. It's a rather large one.
Actually, I could always just bring my panel because that has a pretty long cord that then attaches to like a wooden, just a sheet of plywood that then has a breaker panel in there and additional outlets. It's like 4, I think it's only 4 outlets though. Huh? We're getting there.
Because one of the, I would say the outlets would go for the cotton candy, more than likely. Which I think we kept up front near the building the last time.
If you have 100-foot extension cords, you could put that generator fairly far away, but it is like, you know, generators are pretty loud when they're running in an open space, especially unless you maybe contain it with a foam SM box, right? That's
So I guess I will have to follow up more specifically with them in terms of what that looks like. And I don't, because they didn't offer anything in terms of things that would, they would just run the power off of it. I'm just looking here at the things that we have right now that we had put through. The junior T-ball game would be something that would require power because the ball is floating by the air. I wouldn't think the mini golf would. It would be just down on the ground and they're putting. The Connect 4 looks like a freestand. The Pirate Bay toss frame looks like a freestand. Face painting wouldn't. The hoop challenge looks like something that's just a basketball hoop. So I'm thinking it's probably this large obstacle course and the T-ball game. Like, just as I look down the list of things that we had selected, because we tried to balance out things that weren't just all inflatables as well.
I think you just reach out to them and we circle back to it. Just probably via email is probably easiest, and we have alternatives if worst case scenario.
So you said you had a generator that you'd be,
Yeah, I got a generator, and so does
use.
Public Works, and I can
Okay.
bring my little power board, and then you can run extension cords from that. So you can get it pretty far away if you're running like 100-foot extension cords.
yeah, I will follow up and see, and confirm what that is. Because I'm thinking probably the cotton candy one is probably what they would need electrical for too. Because these other events look like they're more freestanding type events. Other than, I think it's probably the obstacle course may require more than one, like it's a large piece, and then the T-ball game. Because the rest of them look like freestanding activities. Okay, so I will reach out to Party Time and find out more specifically regarding these outlets and which items need the outlets, and let you know in terms of generators and stuff, because that we may need.
Yeah, if you could inquire and ask if maybe they have a generator they would include, because a lot of them have like smaller ones, quieter
Yeah, I could
generators,
ask,
right? That you see at
because I'm wondering,
fairs and
yeah, because if we could do it through them, then that would be,
yeah, a lot of
but
them got those
again,
small.
yeah,
Like mine's a pretty big one. She's got to be trailered in and wheeled to the spot, right? You're not lifting that on a vehicle.
so I'm just looking in terms of budget, like in case we do have to do that as an option. I know we had budgeted with the one grant was $4,400, and that was just the grant, not the kids' activities plus the cotton candy. They're coming in at $4,200, so we have maybe $200 to work with from that grant based on the total that we have from party time. Because right now the total is $4,288.97. So we have a little bit of room. I
think even if we had to rent a small generator, you should be under $200 is my question for a day. To rent a small one, I can't see it being, they're $1,000 new. But you rent it more than $200 for a day, right?
I will add, Chair, if I may, as part of the soccer component grant that we got for the $5,000, part of our application was to get soccer-related inflatables. So if we wanted to pivot potentially one of the inflatables that we have, maybe the T-ball game or something, to a more soccer-related one, we could probably offset some of those costs as well.
had tried about soccer options, but they were all taken, and the one that I did have, it ended up someone else had put that deposit down before we had, so unfortunately all the soccer stuff has been taken. In terms of inflatables and stuff through party time that's available, I found some other things that we could do that could fall under that grant, but in terms of party time, all those have been exhausted, I think, based on the soccer cup taking place. So I feel, if we had to have an additional cost, is there any additional budget beyond that grant? Deputy Clerk.
I believe the committee allocated just over $20,000. I think that left us with, I would have to check the math, but in and around $1,000 spare. And then the money from the committee's separate budget that is going towards the outdoor movie night, that's come in quite a bit under budget as to what was expected. There could be some funds to pull from there as well.
I think that sounds reasonable if the funds are there. And if we can allocate, if we need be to be able to add this component, I think that would be valuable if the committee's in agreement. Any thoughts?
From going through from our last meeting, I believe it was $20,200 in total. That's not including the grant. So if we subtract the grant money from it, we're at $15,800. We can't do that. The grant's not covering part of our, or is that like an additional above the $20,200?
So we had $17,000 allocated from council as our annual budget, and then we received the $4,400. So we would have had $21,440, and we allocated, you were correct, Councillor Cox, $20,200. So that leaves us, I think, in and around $1,200
Okay, perfect.
left over without touching the soccer grant at all.
I think then that might, based on what the numbers you were saying, like even if we had to rent something or to see if we could do something through party time.
Do we need a generator to blow up soccer balls? Well, it's a general question, right? You buy a bunch of soccer balls, how are you going to pump them up? All our outlets are taken.
I got a plan. I'll show you a plan. is the committee fine if we need to use that additional funding to be able to support our plan that we had discussed last meeting? Do we have to put a motion on that?
I don't think at this time. I think at this point you would be able to go back and seek party time to see if they have any generator options. I think we're aware of kind of the numbers that we have left over to work with. I think that if the committee's in agreement, then you can go ahead and secure that to ensure the inflatables are good. And at the next meeting, we can report back and make a formal motion at that point.
Okay. Is everyone okay in agreement then? Yes. I'll reach out to party time then about that. While we're kind of talking about the soccer thing, I might just skip to the soccer part of it. Is that fine? If that's, so we had saw that email where it had come out for $5,000. So I was looking on a couple of things of what we could do from a kid's perspective. So I found a couple of things through Amazon that I thought would be neat. It'd almost kind of be revamping the kids' center from what I usually do to something to relate to this. So I'm going to pass and show you. So one of the things was, it's a kind of goes with the whole idea of the whole coloring idea, is they have, Amazon has soccer balls that the kids can color and keep. And they're $23.99 a piece. So I thought it'd be something that would be a nice take home, something they can use and something that's practical. Some other things I saw to kind of balance out some of the kids' activities. They had soccer beads. So when I'd been at Potato Festival and some other festivals, one of the activities they had was beading. So thinking to do some soccer beads and possibly like different colored beads and letting them do necklaces as an option. They also had some just FIFA World Cup temporary tattoos. I know we're going to have temporary tattoos as part of the thing, but just these were soccer related ones that were kind of cute.
If I may, Chair, as part of the restrictions to the grant, we can't reference directly the FIFA World Cup or their trademark logo. We have to reference international soccer, soccer in a general capacity. We can't use any of the direct references to the FIFA World Cup or their trademarks.
Sorry, I was unaware of that.
No problem.
So what was it? International?
You can reference international soccer, soccer in like a general format. It's just we can't infringe on the FIFA trademarking.
Okay. Sorry. The other thing I saw was one of those Velcro mats where they have like different targets on it. I'm going to pass around so you can look at what I've been talking about. And they kick the ball towards the different targets. Then getting a ball pump to help pump up all those balls. Then I went to Walmart to see some of the options that they had and saw, I would say their soccer balls were the more reasonably priced than on Amazon. And then they had some different styles of nets. So again, this was just an idea of how we could use the money to kind of support kids' things and bring out the soccer thing. So just based on those totals. So again, for the soccer balls, I just put in some number ideas that we can discuss if the committee likes the ideas in terms of how many we would need so that there would be enough for all the participants. So then the total of those two, the purchases through Amazon and then Walmart with the soccer balls and the nets. And then if we do get the soccer association to come and partner with us, we have this stuff all there that they can use. And this could be something we could reuse at another event. That total would come to $4,637.71. Does anyone want to share their thoughts or have any other ideas?
Did that total include the tattoos?
Yeah, all they say on them, no, I was the one that made, they just have soccer balls, trophies, 2026 champion. They're not, it was how I worded it. Yeah, so they're not anything, they're just soccer. Goal champion with a shoe. Or one might say World Cup, or that, is that fine? Okay.
Well, I think it's wonderful ideas. You know, it's all about these events are predominantly for the kids, right? And I do agree Walmart has better prices for soccer balls. I go through a fair amount of those in a year. So I'm okay with proceeding considering it's a grant and we're using it in accordance with how they wanted us to spend it. And additionally, it's really for the children. So I would be okay with everything you've suggested, and kudos on the research and putting it all together.
I just thought it would be a neat idea once I started finding the things that we could flip the kids' part this year to focus on the soccer. And it kind of relates with the whole coloring because the kids do seem to really enjoy coloring it. And then it's nice, something that they walk away with and can keep, which I know as a parent, at least it's something that's usable, right? When you take home and. Any other,
Well, I just think the beading is also an excellent idea, you know, more so for probably Emily and the little girls. And tattoos, I have 4 grandsons, and they've all been into tattoos, so I think that's a great idea too.
so do we need to put a motion on the floor if we're using the grant?
We would need to do that.
Do you have one?
Based on your suggestions, no, I don't have one prepared.
So do we need to? Do you want to pass her down so she can see what it
Yeah.
is?
Thank you.
Well, is that okay if we continue on while you're looking at that, Deputy Clerk?
Yep, certainly.
Okay, so Party Time did confirm with me that they're fully staffing the event. They're going to arrive between 5 and 5:30. They said they will message when they're 15 minutes out. So there should be plenty of time for them to set up. Maybe before I go over the other things, I will go over, the mayor had given me a brief update on some of the things that he's been working on. Angela Bram-Beeman and the mayor are coordinating the musical performances for the event, for the opening ceremonies. The Senior of the Year Award may be presented at the opening ceremonies, and if that is, it will need to be included in the event program. And also we'll need to have invitations for the event to be sent out to MPs, MPP, and local politicians. I'll circle back to that for the deputy clerk. The mayor had been in contact with CFB Borden, and they've confirmed that the fire department fire academy will be attending the event and displaying 1, if not 2, fire vehicles. The truck confirmed is a ladder truck, and the second is waiting to be confirmed. It's an aircraft rescue. So the display for these vehicles will need some changements or realignment for the layout of the parking area, so we may have to do some change up about that. The OPP, the mayor has been in contact, and they'll assist again with traffic and provide something for a vehicle display. So we'll have more updates from them shortly. As of right now, we haven't, the mayor had not had any updates in regards to the soccer club coming to set up an obstacle course. We may be able to reach out again to see, but again, if not, we'll be able to have the supplies where we can kind of set up something that the children can use with the outdoor stuff that we're able to purchase as a part of the grant. So the freezes, we talked about the change to the kids. So I guess the next thing, which is important that we'll need to discuss, is the live band. I know at the last meeting, we were going to go back and see if there was any other, if people had got any other quotes or had any other options. I know we're running kind of close on time now. Was anybody able to, did they get any leads or any ideas?
Thank you. I just presented at the last meeting, Days Gone By, for the band in the evening. And we chose to wait until this meeting to make a decision to see if anyone else was put forth. I have no other contacts.
I received one contact late in the month though, so I've not had a response back from them as of yet.
I don't have anything. Here. So I know, because our time is, we need to start to, because we need to start to advertise and secure some things. I feel maybe as a committee tonight, we need to make some sort of decision. So budget-wise, it was $2,000 we had allocated in the budget for band.
And Days Gone By, Days Gone By for the event will be $500.
Anyone else have anything to offer, or what do you feel in terms of next steps and how we should proceed tonight?
My only suggestion is if that's the only one on the table at the present moment, and if we need to make a decision tonight, well, we're kind of out of a lot of options. The only other suggestion I could have is that we advertise without the band's name, just say live music, if we wanted to, right? Because I rarely think, like, I'm a real thinker here. Canada Day events hosted here every year. People are going to show up regardless if they're going to show up. The band only impacts generally a small number of the participants that are coming here. That I don't think advertising the band or not advertising the band, I don't think that has an impact on the actual attendance, personally. Because if I was going to the Canada Day event, I'm going there for the fireworks, right? I'm generally not like, oh, I'm going there just to listen to a band. No, I'm going for the fireworks and the kid activities. But that's me, and I feel like locally that's how people are thinking. But they're not really, it's not too much emphasis on it, where it's just the actual environment and the fireworks show that are like the crucial thing. So if we want to proceed, I'm totally fine with it. I was just, brainstorming open ideas if we want to just put live music, but that's totally up to the discretion of the committee.
Yeah, I think just one comment I would like to make is, looking from the band perspective, they probably would want the publicity. That's the only drawback. Everything else, I completely agree with you. But just from their perspective, they probably would want the publicity for themselves. But that's it.
The other point that I would like to emphasize is, I know Days Gone By because I've spoken with them, and they're very booked for the summer. The only advantage that we have is July 1st is a Wednesday. It's not a weekend. So their gigs are not quite often, they are on the summer weekends. So I personally don't think that we should wait if we're going to choose Days Gone By, because I think that they want to engage and know that it's a done deal rather than wait for another month.
Yeah, I think just one more comment. I mean, the pricing is very, very, very extremely reasonable as well from what we have budgeted. And it's a quarter. It's just another added, I guess, benefit in here, but.
So like I said, option one, we just go with the band already chose it, put on the agenda, right?
It's the timing, that's the only thing I'm concerned of. And it's my understanding that, Deputy Clerk, correct me if I'm wrong, but decisions have to be made within the meeting. So then we would have to be waiting till June, which is, to me, is way too late.
It would be my recommendation that a band is determined tonight.
So I suggest we move with Days Gone By.
Yep.
The one and only option. That's right.
So that might give us some additional funding if we need it for generators then, as well. That'll give us possibly $1,500 that we could. Okay, so then Shirley, you're going to, that was your call, you're good to
Yes.
reach out with them in terms of,
Yes, I will, for sure.
in terms of the raffles, I've reached out by email to some local businesses in the township. I'd done that late last week, so I'm still waiting to hear. Again, I just kind of put out what we were doing and if they were open to donating something if they wished. We will be able to use, since we're changing the focus of the kids' part to the soccer ball artwork. So we had 2 baskets left over from the coloring contest last year, so we can use them as the raffle for like a kids' raffle. So hopefully, I did reach out to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reached out to 6 different businesses. So again, it will all depend on if they would, how they wish to proceed. Because I think last year we had 2. Then that was the signage, that was the kids' stuff. I had reached out to the schools late last week to the administrators to share the information regarding the school art showcase so that they can share it with their educators team. I also, after the last meeting, shared that information with the clerk that, so that could be included in the newsletter. Deputy Clerk, can you confirm, was that included?
I can turn that over to our communications.
Can you just repeat that last question for me, please?
I was just wondering, they had requested that I provide information for the school showcase.
Yes.
That could be included in the township newsletter.
Yes,
Just
it
wanted to
was-
confirm that was.
Yes, it was in the township newsletter, and those are being delivered via mail last week and this week, and then will be on our website posted shortly this week as well.
Thank you. While we're on that topic of the newsletter, was there anything else related to Canada Day that was included in that newsletter?
Yes, we did promote the Canada Day event. We advertised that there would be music and that there would be games and activities. And we had stated the date and the time, similar to what we had done last year as well. And then right below that, we did have the artwork showcase in the same column to make sure that everyone knew it was the same event.
Perfect, thank you for that update and information. We briefly kind of looked at the parking outlet or this map, but again, we're gonna have to revisit it once everything is confirmed in terms of details in regards to that. I know at the last meeting you were, Public Works, they were in the process of securing the water truck, and they were trying to see if they could get a different one. Any updates, Deputy Clerk?
Yep, certainly. We for sure will have a water source for Canada Day, whether it is like the separate trailer or is attached within the truck. that's to be determined which specific unit Aqua provides us. But we will 100% have a water source.
Okay. In terms, I know at our last meeting, we had talked about, in the past, we have given out water bottles that had the township logo on them. I think the township was going to look into seeing pricing and if that's something that's available or not.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we do have some leftovers that can be made available to the committee. We have a couple sample options here. I think, and Trish can confirm, I think we have about 300 that we can potentially give away.
I know we had talked at the last meeting, because we had done water bottles for the last couple of years. Was there any other options that fit within the price range, or was water bottles?
There was no additional funds to be spent on giveaways. This
Okay.
was utilizing what we had in stock.
So currently, you said we have 300 bottles.
I would have to double check the numbers, but approximately sitting in that area, yes,
So we can use those for Canada Day then?
you can, yeah.
Okay, thank you. The next was, at the last meeting, I had mentioned I was going to see if we could get the paint the bus. I know last year I had reached out and they said that they weren't doing that. I did reach out shortly after our meeting, and they said that that would be something that they could do, a small or a large bus. But there was a question regarding the insurance and whether the township would be covering the insurance or if they would have to get their own separate insurance. I know the mayor had followed up with the treasurer and was going to have the treasurer loop around that again to see. I have followed up with the bus company, and it said just based on the number of vehicles and stuff, if we do go with a bus, it would probably need to be a small bus for them to paint. And asking if they have to they have to provide their own insurance, is there an additional cost to us? Because right now, as of now, the township was still looking into how that would look, because that was just something that Landmark had asked me when I had reached out to them. So that was the most recent update that the mayor had shared with me from the treasurer, and I've just reached out again to the bus company asking them what that option is in terms of insurance, and what that would be. Because then if we had that, then I know we wouldn't have to do the paint the plow or anything, that would be something that they would come and they'd set up and they would do for us. So again, I'm waiting to hear on insurance. I have reached out to the contact that I had at the high school in regards to sharing our event with the students that are looking for community hours. So I have not heard yet. I told her once we did have a flyer done last year, I shared the flyer so that they could share it out with the students in terms of if they wish to volunteer. Now, if we're, in terms of our food option, I know at the last, our meeting, we had talked about, Councillor Cox was in conversation with Elon's Pizza. Councillor Cox, do you have any details for us?
Yeah, I've talked with the owners of Elon's Pizza, and I believe they will be able to support the event, similar to a delivery service. Instead of, there was communication before of not having it warmed up here, but there's too many restrictions and requirements for that. So they'll just shuttle pizzas back and forth as required. Obviously, Everett is their #1 customer base, so they will be ensuring they support that, but they can also support our event as well. And that was my update from them. I don't think we should include them in the flyer because I believe they're in the process of a name change.
Okay.
They're going from Elon's to Everett Pizza.
Okay.
So while they're in that transitional time, I don't want to give the wrong information.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But should we put something in our file that there will be food available on site?
Yes, I think so. I think we should put something like food may be able for purchase, because they said they can support, and I'm trusting that they will support. Like say Everett is their main clientele base, and they have to obviously ensure the operations there as well. But he said they could support, so I just don't know how. I would say food should be on site for purchase, or maybe on site for purchase, right?
Because then at least then parents or families could kind of plan like accordingly if there is going to be.
Yes.
Because I know at the last one you were talking about possibly like some type of like a combo where they could get a drink and pizza.
Yes, and that's a similar combo which I discussed with
With-
the owner.
Okay. So then it sound like that somebody would be here, like on
Yes.
site, and then they would
Yes.
just shuttle
Yes.
pizzas accordingly. Yeah, because it would be great if we could, then at least people could have the heads up, because that is something new again this year, so that if they know.
Yep, exactly. So prior to the poster going out, I'll just do a reconfirmation. I just confirmed last week, and they were still good to go. So I want to make sure before the poster goes out, if it's going to go on the poster, I will reconfirm. I'll talk with the communications clerk, and make sure everything goes well.
No, thank you, Councillor Cox, for looking into that. I think that will be a great way to add extra food options with it's being cost effective and not the lines of food trucks.
My apologies. I think it's communications officer. Is that what it is? Yes. I'll get the position title correct.
Because then we have our chips and freezies that they'll get their token for when they come into the parking area. And then we'll have, like we did last year, where we have the 500 servings of cotton candy, like that the committee will pay from the township, which Party Time's going to do for us this year. So again, then we have those, and then that additional, I think that gives a lot of choice for families. Talked about the soccer. Maybe we will move to the opening ceremonies. I know I gave you the update from the mayor regarding the entertainment. Deputy Clerk, do you know if invitations have been sent out? As I know in the past, the township has sent out invitations to MPs, MPPs.
No invitations have been sent out to date, as I'm aware of, but that is certainly something the township can look into.
Thank you for that. So again, I think we had already previously discussed the opening ceremonies in terms of the music, and then the cake and refreshments following. Afterwards, I was looking through, maybe I'll we'll get an update from communications, and then we can talk. I know I have a few things that I'd just like clarification on, so.
Sure. Hello. Okay, so we'll start with the volunteer poster, because that one will have to go out as soon as we possibly can, so we can try and get as much volunteers on site as possible. So I've created this could be for a poster or social media post for looking for candidate volunteers, advertising they can get their volunteer hours and that we need help for parking, games, refreshment station, and to contact the clerk if they would like to participate and be a volunteer for the event. In addition, we do have verbiage that would go along with that volunteer social media, which is help us make Canada Day unforgettable. We're recruiting friendly, community-minded volunteers to lend a hand at this year's celebrations. Great for students, great for student hours or giving back. And then the email address again in the actual text of that as well. And then I would schedule that for June 8th, June 10th, and June 16th. I could also, if this one is approved this evening, then that is something that we can move forward with ASAP and even get that out. I did go back to last year, and June 8th is about the time that we had started advertising that as well. So, but we can definitely push that out sooner. There's no harm in trying it that. And then in terms of the rest of the in terms of the rest of the graphics and the social media posts, absolutely, if you guys if the committee so chooses, we can definitely add the pizza element to the poster. I actually just did a little bit of a mock-up where I would just add probably one more red bullet under here and then move it down, and then we can advertise that. I am aware that Elance Pizza is going through a transition, but if they are comfortable in sharing their new name, possibly, or their new logo, that is something that I've seen, then we can also do that too if you'd like to communicate with them to Councillor Cox.
100%. I'll be in contact with them and I'll let you know if they're okay with putting their new name, right? I don't know if there's any legal aspect to it because they're carrying an old name, transitioning. So I'll
Yeah.
confirm all of that with you.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds good. And again, that's something that we can also add. Everything kind of looks clear, concise. You look at one, you know you're going to look at the other one, and you know it's all to do with Canada Day. So I wanted to make them all very similar. So again, we can obviously add that extra red, that red line throughout the rest of the promo material as well. With the live music by, we can now add the chosen band. So if we wanted to get a graphic of the band, then I can definitely insert that, whatever it is that they're comfortable with. We did add the soccer element to the poster as well to promote the soccer activities and in line with the funding, as well as we added the funded by the Government of Canada logo, as that's mandated as part of the funding in there. And then, so I've got one size is for X and Facebook, and then the other side that's on the back, that is the Instagram size. So just want to make sure that everything looks clean and easy to read. And then in terms of the promotional material, you'll see all the scheduled posts and all the days that I've chosen, which all aligns similar to what we did last year. And we can change it up as we get closer. If there's new information as well, we can add new information, but that would all have to be decided by the committee. And then there would be the news and notice item that goes on our website as well. And that always stays on our website. We can always refer back to that. The only thing that I would need to be notified on is what time the parking opens. I am aware that parking does get pretty packed. So we did advertise last year what time the parking opens at. So then people were aware of what time they can come in and try and get a good spot. And then we also would have the event on our event website, which is something that I've been pushing for people to add their own events, their own community events to our page. So on that, you can just go to, it's adjtos.ca/events, and it's an event calendar. And we would have all of the information posted there, as well as I would make an event on Facebook as well, because that does tend to get a lot more reach to the community. Because once you see your friend is going, then the other friend is going to see it. So are there any questions or about that?
I have a few things, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
One of the things was for the volunteer part. I'm just wondering if we can keep it a bit more general, like in terms of like the games and stuff are going to be more coordinated by party time and stuff. I think in the past we kept it more generalized, and then it was kind of more case by case. When the clerk received an interested volunteer, they sent a message to me, and then I kind of reached out to them, and we looked in terms of what was going to fit them best. So I'm just wondering if we can keep it more generalized, if that's okay. Like, I like the part about volunteer hours. I'm wondering, I don't know. That's just a thought. Just because I know some of the stuff will be completely handled by party time. And then for some of like the children's stuff, I know if we got high school volunteers, usually we tried to put them in the children's zone. So then it was something that was more, that they felt comfortable doing. And I'm wondering, it would be great if we could have that almost go out next week, because I think you had mentioned the 8th. I'd like to see it maybe go out earlier, if possible. Like, I know, I think the sooner we can get the word out, the better, in terms of providing people with time and in case they're going to volunteer or do something at another event.
Should we change it from games to activities?
Yeah, I think that would be better.
Or you could say Children's Activity Center, if
Maybe
you want to be specific on that.
I'd rather not be too specific. I'd rather leave it more open-ended, so like children's activities, kind of like what you mentioned, I think something like that.
Children's activities, we'll make.
And then the other part was on the flyer where it says kids' activities and inflatables. So technically, we only have like, it's an obstacle course. So maybe if we use the word obstacle course instead of inflatables, because I don't want people to think, oh, they come here and then there's no inflatables. So if we could just use the wording obstacle course, if that's fine. So even like, because I guess activities would cover, because you've got games in there.
Is the T-ball not an inflatable?
Yeah, but it's not something they're going through, kind of thing.
Could just keep it at kids' activities because technically they're
Then I think
all kids' activities.
then I think we go that. I think we keep it more generalized, so that
Just keep it as generic as
As
possible.
possible.
So that you're catering to a larger audience then.
and then people aren't coming with
Not specifying,
expectations
yeah,
and
that's
being.
for toddlers, it's for this, well, you don't have it for my kid, you don't have.
I think I like just kids. I
Yeah.
think that would be better. If everyone's in agreement with that, just keeping everything a bit more open-ended will
Yes.
probably be
Yeah.
easier for us as a committee. And then surely you will reach out to the band in terms of any, like a picture or something that they feel comfortable including.
And so, if I get a graphic, who do I send that to? Thank you.
In terms of the parking opening at 5:30, I know this year we're having some light refreshments for volunteers, which is starting at 5:30. So in terms of the parking lot opening at 5:30, I think that needs to be pushed back in terms of timing, just because that's kind of when we had set that up.
I was going to circle back to this poster here. What exactly is Touch a Truck?
So last year we had put on Touch Truck, and that's when we had the paint the plow, and I believe there was some fire vehicles that were here as well. So it's just a way for kids to kind of, hop in the cars and check them out and check out all those vehicles that are there.
Should we, just a suggestion, should we just put as display vehicles, or like, I think Touch a Truck, although like I kind of understand it, it's kind of also like for someone that's not, like I put myself in the shoes of somebody that's not, obviously hasn't attended it before. And it's like kind of like, what is that? Do they just go like touch a truck? Right? It's like if my kids just touching trucks out there. So it just saying, I just think maybe just vehicle displays, accessible vehicle displays, like something, like say keeping it more
I think keep it more, everything kind of more.
broad range.
Broader,
that's,
generalized, might be best.
So it really gives more, because touch a truck really insinuates a singular vehicle, right? When there should be multiple, there's potential military fire trucks, there's going to be a police car, there's going to be public works displays. So I think keeping it more broad spectrum, saying like, vehicle displays, would kind of hit home what the actual activity is, right? Or what the event portion of that event is. But that's just my suggestion. You don't have to take it. I was just, we're brainstorming. There's no bad ideas in brainstorming, right?
And then I wonder, even with the soccer stuff, they're like almost soccer themed activities. So again, just keeping it very open-ended, so then they're not.
If I may, Chair, the soccer-themed games and crafts wording, I would recommend keeping very similar based on the application that was submitted for the grant funding, and just to ensure that we're meeting the requirements of that. I would say the games and the crafts with the coloring stations, the soccer ball does fit under the craft category. So I personally would highly recommend the committee leave that wording as is.
It was just the games, we will have a few things, but it won't be extensive in terms of, again, like there'll be set up games for them to play soccer and that kind of thing. But if that's what the wording needs to stay for the grant, then that's fine. I feel we probably have, our stuff covers enough of those things. You've had a look at it, so do you feel that it falls within those parameters?
Yeah, certainly. And when the committee is ready, I do have a motion drafted. We can pass all the motions at the end. If you'd like, Chair, I'd like to make a motion to secure the band as well, if we can. So we can certainly do that at the end when we're finished discussions. But yes, I think these well fit into the craft concept that the grant likes, for sure.
In terms of parking, when do we want, what timing do we want? I just know 5:30 we had talked about, usually 5:30, we're like in the past when we didn't have the food options, we were still kind of pre-setting things up and whatnot. Because again, I worry once people start to park, they start to come in and we still have people maybe setting up if it's too early.
Should we push it to 6?
I think I'd be more comfortable with 6.
Easy peasy. Let's go with 6.
Because then at least everyone's had time to kind of eat and be able to go out, and we know for sure then everything is pretty well ready at that point.
We can advertise it as kind of gates open at 6, event begins at 7, if that works.
Yeah, if it can highlight the fact that it begins at 7, just so that in case people are still, because the band and everything, just so that they're all not feeling pressured to have to start an hour early. Yeah, I like that wording, like event starts at 7. And then it's the same with the food options and stuff. They give the pizza provider time to get here, set up, and figure out what works best for them. I think that was all I had. Was there anything else the committee had regarding the posters or communications? I think the earlier we can get stuff out, the better.
I'd just like to say thank you to the communications officer for developing these posters. I think you did a lovely job. Sorry for the minor little adjustments we made. It had nothing to do with the work you did. It was great. Kudos to all the work you do.
No, I think the poster's definitely very visually appealing and stuff, but I think we just need to be, as a committee, more generalized in terms of our wording. So thank you for your work on that. Is there anything else related to Canada Day, the morning or evening ceremonies that we haven't discussed or need to discuss? Okay, seeing none. Deputy Clerk, do you want to put the motions on the floor regarding the grant and the band?
Certainly. So I will put the band motion on the floor first, if we can get a mover and second and take a vote on that, and then I will subsequently read the one for the soccer grant, if that's all right with the committee. So the first recommendation would read that the Community Development and Event Committee move forward with securing Days Gone By as the band for the 2026 Canada Day event.
Can I get a mover, please? Shirley, can I get a seconder? Seer, all those in favor? Carried.
Perfect, thank you. And the second resolution would read that the Community Development and Event Committee, Chair, what was the grand total that you had? Was it, I wasn't sure which
Again,
number
like
it
some of the
was.
prices, I'm not 100%, like again, I took them at Walmart and stuff, so can we not keep it just to,
I was
as
just
long as it's under 5,000?
sure if we wanted to,
Just because some of the prices, like I know I got the most recent Amazon ones, but they fluctuate a bit, and I'd have to go to Walmart again to just double check some of the balls and stuff in case they were put on the wrong shelf or whatnot. If we could keep it, because we do have the 5,000. just in case prices fluctuate and whatnot.
Certainly. Well, we'll just have to, when we report out for our finances, just be very clear onto what we spent the funds on. But we could certainly keep it generic for now and have it read that the Community Development and Event Committee allocate the funding from the Soccer 2026 component of the Celebrate Canada Grant Fund for soccer-themed craft games and supplies, including soccer ball coloring kits, beading, jewelry kits, and temporary tattoos. That does not limit just to those specific items. It's just showing these are some of the things that we are going to be purchasing.
Okay, so that it doesn't have to list everything that,
Nope,
okay.
nope, because we have 4 soccer-themed crafts, games, and supplies, generally.
Okay. Yeah, I think if we can just, like, I have itemized everything right now, but again, I would have to go to Walmart and double check everything. So I
Certainly,
wouldn't
yeah,
wanna
prices might change a little
limit
bit.
at
Yep.
this point.
Yep, and like I said, when we report our financing out afterwards, we'll have those itemized lists available for the public to review.
Can I get a mover, please? Counselor Cox, can I get a seconder, please? Seer, all those in favor? Carried. We done the advertising. Is there any new items of business? Seeing none, we'll move to item number 8, which is adjournment. I now declare this meeting adjourned at 7:08 PM.